Hey.
Hey.
Can you guys hear us this time?
Ooh, I got a pimple right there.
Just pop it. Oh, it's on that side.
Wrong side.
Just rip your face off in one half.
God. All right. So, hi, Calvin. And Mikey has lined up the people that are here. Awesome. First off, hi, Mikey. Hi, Beth.
Wait.
Hi,
Do
Connor.
we need the light today? Yeah.
Sort of. Hi, Calvin again. Hi, Nadine.
Hi, Nadine. Hi, Connor and
Hi, Nadine.
Calvin and
I said hi to all those. I went down the line. Thank you.
Zool.
Hey, Zool.
What's going on?
What's up, guys?
I'm
All
sorry.
right.
I know every time we play that video, but the part where Natalie edited it and where it's like, who's that kid? And like, it's just me with a branch and the zodiac symbol on my back. It's pretty cool. I was
still laughing because I know it says tried to kick my ass, but it sounds like it says tried to eat my ass.
Who's that kid? Frank's trying to eat someone's ass again. We gotta stop him. Why does it? It only does it when Hex is in a cause not here. That's when it gets blurry.
Mm-hmm.
For some odd reason, it focuses perfectly on the masks. But when the masks aren't on and stuff like that, it's or the demons aren't out or something like that. So what's going on, guys?
All right, so
Yo, dog, what are we doing, dog?
So what are we talking about? What are we going to talk about?
What's next?
So tell me what you're doing next.
What's next? Yeah,
look, fam. Look.
Hex fam. Okay, dog. Okay. Now we are talking about William Bonin, and I've been wanting to cover him for a while, at least. And I'll admit it. You
can't see me bouncing. That's why I'm doing it.
I'm a huge Last Podcast on the Left guy, and I heard his on there, and I didn't really know about William Bonin until I heard it on the Last Podcast on the Left, and they did theirs like years ago, and now we're doing ours.
Ours is better.
No, it's not.
No, that's why I said not really.
No, dude,
their
Last Podcast on the Left are legit awesome.
I'm joking.
I know.
That's why I was like, you guys need to stop. I'm getting offended. Hey, Zool, what's up? Yeah, we are doing William Bonin tonight.
My God, that is a
really good beer.
What is that? What's the alcohol content on that?
13.
Oh my God, I'm gonna get fucked up.
Be fun. All right, so he's gonna be burping in the mic tonight.
Pastry stout with coffee, cacao, pure cacao, chocolate sandwich cookies, and marshmallows, and it's called
cacao.
Well, don't waste the rest of that. It's called Sword of Surtur. There you go. You know the god that destroys Valhalla, that is destined to destroy everything.
All right, so let's get on this. I guess let's do this since people are so touchy.
Pussies.
So let's go with trigger warnings because I think this involves
this one
sodomy.
is going to it's going to involve a lot of sodomy, and there's a lot of he's a pedophile.
Yeah,
it's pretty messed up.
Very, 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 very brutal. So let's flash this.
Yep.
Woo! Sorry for those of you who have seizures. Sorry.
We just killed someone on accident.
Sorry. Let's go with warning. The related content may be disturbing to some individuals. Viewer discretion is advised. And under the fair use, another author may make limited use of the original author's work without asking permission. Pursuant to 17 U.S. Code 107, certain uses of copyrighted material for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, including multiple copies for classroom use, scholarship, or research, is not an infringement of copyright. So take that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Box up the queen. I even made it in our chat where the boxes fly now if we say it.
Wait, what?
I'll show
you. Did I miss
later.
it in the
yes,
chat?
You did.
So
yes, you did.
I slept for the last 2 days, and
should I drink 80 proof?
If you want to, I'm not stopping you.
Yes.
I would love it if you did, actually.
Uh-oh. We might summon the skunt.
I know who we're talking
about.
Watch
out.
But I don't. This is what happens, Mikey, when I sleep for like 2 days.
we may summon the skunt.
I missed all the fun stuff in the chats.
All right, so You're the one who made up skunt on accident.
Did I?
Yes. Last
When?
night.
What did I say?
You said something about a skunt. And we were like, okay, that's a new word.
Did it? Oh, I said their
Yeah.
cuck dick.
You said skunt.
And did I say I said that too?
You said skunt.
I say a lot of stuff.
Snuggle to the skunt. Okay.
Oh, I did.
Okay.
I did.
Okay. Anyway.
I do remember
Guys.
that. I did get pretty stoned last night when we got up.
Oh. I think Mikey may have said skunt.
Oh, Mikey said it. Okay.
Okay.
I remembered it. I just remember saying cuck dick.
Okay, let's get going on this thing. So, some very basic, like, a rundown of what we're going to be talking about real fast. So, we're talking about William George Bonin, born January 8th, 1947, in Willimantic, Connecticut. He died February 23rd, 1996, at the age of 49 in San Quentin by lethal injection.
Was it lethal? I thought he. Okay. Okay, that's where I got it messed up. I thought he died of natural causes, like a heart attack or something.
His resting place, his ashes were scattered in the Pacific Ocean. That's too good for him.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
The reason being is that a lot of serial killers and a lot of people are messed up like this. If you give them a grave, a lot of people will go there and party and celebrate them.
Well, I know, but
that's why they do.
That's still too good for him.
That's why they do just spread their ashes somewhere, or they just give them unmarked graves.
Good one. Oops. So, let's see here. Nicknames: Freeway Killer. Children: he has one.
Yes.
Convictions: first-degree murder, robbery, sodomy, and
he was
obviously.
He was
convicted to death.
Yeah, he was. This is one of the things where it's nature versus nurture, where he had a lot of head trauma.
Yeah,
and they actually he did have lesions on his frontal
lobe damage,
major lesions,
which we've talked about before.
And we're
going to cover again.
That's your impulse controls. Now that doesn't mean he did know what he was doing.
That doesn't excuse anything.
It doesn't excuse anything.
So. Hey, Steven P. Kitty Cat.
Mm-hmm.
He's back tomorrow, guys.
Tomorrow. What movies is he covering?
I don't remember. What movies are we covering?
Stephen P. Kitty Cat. Let's do show prep while we're on.
Carl,
Let's do show prep while we're on the air, guys. We're gonna go into some background stuff here, and we're gonna get some things out of the. I'm kidding.
You know, we just have to really talk about this. No, oh, my nose. Dang it. So he had anywhere from, I think it was like something like 21 to 36 plus victims. He was only convicted of 14 though.
Yeah.
His span of the crimes, were from May 28th, 1979 to June 2nd, 1980. He
committed some acts. I think he was suspected of killing prior to that, but this May 79 to June 1980 is his berserk mode.
Yeah.
This is where he loses it. And he also had accomplices too.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Very much like, the theories behind Gacy, but.
So this was here in California, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's another thing I was going to get to real fast. The reason why they call him the freeway killer is because there's actually several I-5 killers.
Yeah.
And his corridor he mostly stalked was the I-5 in Los Angeles.
Oh, yeah. So his last crime was June 2nd of 1980. He was actually apprehended on June 11th of 1980. So let's get into this. William George Bonin, also known as the Freeway Killer, was an American serial killer and pedophile. We're going to say pedophile.
Pederast is funny.
And twice paroled sex offender who committed the rape, torture, and murder of a minimum of 21 young men and boys in a series of killings in Southern California from May 1979 to June 1980. Bonin is also suspected of a further 15 murders, but those will never be confirmed.
There were actually in Los Angeles at the time, the freeways of California, there were several freeway killers happening at the same time, and a lot of it will go back and forth. It's the same thing with I think this is also when you had the Hillside Stranglers going on, or was it a little bit later for the Hillside Stranglers? But
a little bit later, actually a couple years later.
You had everything kind of back to back here, and then you also had I think Rodney Alcala was
Yeah, 79.
No,
I'll
yeah,
delay.
Rodney Acklow was active during this time. You had bodies and everything just being thrown around, all this other stuff because of other serial killers.
Jeez, an obsession with I-5. Well, it's the most popular.
It's the I-5 corridor spans from into Mexico, Mikey, and it goes all the way. We live off the 99, but the I-5 is actually only so far from here. We're just a few miles from our house, and then it goes all the way up to it goes into Canada, through Oregon, through Washington, and into Canada. So it's a big thoroughfare for people to get away with things. And the same thing with the 58, which heads out east, and there's a lot of sex trafficking that happens because that here in Kern County. So
Stephen P. Kitty Cat says, tomorrow night we're doing Guilty Pleasures. Humanoids from the Deep and Aliens versus Predator Requiem.
Oh,
I cannot wait for that.
Aliens versus Predator Requiem is one of my favorite movies of all time. I just have fun with that one every time because it's Aliens versus Predator, but the sequel they decided to make it rated R, like a hard R. It's good. It's really good. It's just like R. It's just hard R. It's just like the comics. And then Humanoids from the Deep. There's some sex scenes in that he might be talking about.
Also, Mikey, on Tuesday, we'll be talking about faith healers and Santa Muerte.
Yes.
Which I'm really excited about because I have a small interest in Santa Muerte. Just a little one. I thought it was cool. Anyway, Nadine has actually driven the 5 before. Mm-hmm. That is awesome. Well, that's an accomplishment considering she's in New York. She came out here and visited, and she got to drive the 5.
She just went all the way around. Well, you probably hit. What did you hit? Did you do? Is it Route 66 that brings everything into California?
Did you drive all the way out here? That's the question.
Yeah, but yeah, the 5 is cool. It's a spooky highway too at night. It's
spoopy.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. All right. So, described by the prosecutor at his first trial as the most arch evil person who ever existed.
Hit my knee.
Bonin was convicted of 14 of the murders linked to the freeway killer in 2 separate trials in 82 and 83. He spent 14 years on death row before he was executed by lethal injection in San Quentin in 96. He was the first inmate to die in California by lethal injection.
Huh.
So Bonin became known as the freeway killer due to the fact that the majority of his victims were discovered along numerous freeways in Southern California. He shares this with 2 separate unrelated serial killers that were active in the area. So Patrick Kearney and Randy Kraft. And we have talked about Randy Kraft before because he's the scorecard killer.
Yep. It was the same thing. It was he went after boys and men and stuff like that.
Oh, she did San Diego to Los Angeles.
San Diego.
A whale's
vagina. I don't think that's what it means. Agree to run in Rome.
Yes, Nadine, how are you? Oh, no.
What?
The loss of sense of smell. Okay. Get your essential oils out. It really helps.
Cloves, eucalyptus.
And also,
I did it.
If you like curry, the curry really helped us.
Okay, I got to take this off. It's starting to get hot now.
It's really warm in here, but my feet are cold. So, Mikey wanted to say off topic, but the Cecil has reopened.
It has.
I'm excited.
It has reopened, but
it's still in Skid Row.
It's still not accessible for us.
Still can't get a room?
You still can't get a room or anything like that. I don't want to get a room there, but it's bad.
Oh, I'd bring water.
Oh, no. It's still
I wouldn't shower there.
It's new owners, and it's still not exactly accessible. He's not the new owners is not letting people come in to do podcasts or anything like that.
Okay. Okay, so let's keep going.
Yeah.
So, his childhood. William George Bonin, or Bill, was born in Willimantic, Connecticut on January 8th, 1947, the second of 3 sons to Robert and Alice Bonin. Both of Bonin's parents were alcoholics. His father was an ill-tempered individual with a gambling compulsion, who was physically abusive towards his wife and children, and his wife, a codependent and passive woman who suffered from sudden mood swings and spent much of her free time at a bingo parlor her sons remained unattended at home.
She was obsessed with gambling and bingo.
They both were.
Yeah, gambling, all that stuff. And it's probably going to mention it here in a second what happened.
as children, all the children were neglected, and they were often fed and given clean clothes by sympathetic neighbors. When both parents were absent from the home, Bonin and his younger brother would occasionally be left under the care of his eldest brother, who frequently would beat them.
Yeah.
So in addition, the brothers were often placed in the care of their grandfather, a convicted child molester, who had sexually abused their mother
And
until her adolescence. And he also started sexually abusing them as well. Mikey just got booted from P13.
What? Facebook has been glitching.
Yeah,
it
guys.
booted us the other day too when we were on there watching something, and
we also have Psycho Bunny Death Cult and Roots Bleed Red running. So if you guys need to jump around,
everything's running fine. But yes, Facebook has been. It did the same thing to us, Mikey. It's been acting weird.
Yeah. Give me a second to pull up my notes again. Yes, I know. William Bonin is Billy the Kid. You are right. Not Bonin. Bonnie, I know.
And
it says Bonnie.
We can even get into that, but that's a whole nother thing.
I do want to talk about Billy the Kid one day.
He's awesome.
But when we talk about Billy the Kid, we will also be talking about a few others. We might do a series on them.
Just a plain Tombstone for everybody. Even though Billy the Kid's not in there. We just play Tombstone. That's it.
I love that movie. Okay, anyway. So in 1953, Bonin's mother placed her sons in an orphanage in an effort to protect her children from their father's physical abuse. This orphanage was known to severely discipline children it housed for both minor and major breaches of conduct. So basically, they went from one hell to another.
Damned if he did and damned if he didn't.
So the punishments that were administered included severe beatings, enduring various stress positions, partial drownings in the sink filled with water, and in some more extreme cases, the orphans were alleged to have endured mistreatment, including their heads being dunked in toilets, excessively beating to where they were bloodied, and assaulted even with knives.
Now, all this, I'm not sure where he had his head injury. I can't remember. But
all of it
combined,
yeah.
He had several head injuries.
This, okay, I have no sympathy for the stuff that he did, but this would fuck anyone up.
Well, yeah. This is like I said, it's nature right here. They're nature versus nurture. They literally they made a serial killer right here. They absolutely took away they made someone into a sociopath, took away all his inhibitions, and just they did not care one bit.
What, Mikey? Dave Beethoven, so Dave Beethoven, Bob Genghis Khan, Herman the Kid. God damn it. Okay. So, at the age of 10, Bonnie. Thank you. Bonin was arrested for stealing vehicle license plates. He was placed in juvenile detention center for various minor crimes. While housed at juvie, he was repeatedly physically and sexually abused by several people, including the counselors there, who had been assigned to control and monitor the offenders. Shortly after his release from the juvenile detention center, he began to sexually fondle his younger brother. And due to the gambling addiction, Bonin's father, they lost. God damn it.
Where are you at?
They actually almost had to get foreclosed on. That's what I was trying to say. Their house was foreclosed on, and they decided to relocate from Connecticut to California in 1961, and this was over in Downey, and I know exactly where that is.
At the time, it was what were they saying about it? It was actually middle class and actually a somewhat good area. And then I think they had, isn't that where
it's still a good area?
No, it's all right. And then that's also where they had like Lockheed or one of the big Boeing or something like that. A couple factories or something like that. And
not in Downey.
It did at the time in the 60s.
That was in Norwalk.
A lot of it got closed down.
That was mostly in Norwalk and Santa Fe Springs. And so, adolescence, Bonin attended North High in Torrance, where he was regarded as a social outcast who scarcely interacted with his peers. According to Bonin, he was something of a shy loner who generally felt uncomfortable in the presence of his peers as a teen. He was also self-conscious of his features and refused to smile in public because of his crooked teeth.
Carl, know the staff. ESP counselors, stop beating and raping the kids, right?
Yes, exactly.
This is very commonplace in almost every single juvenile detention center or orphanage or whatnot in the country.
Something like this
from
is going on.
From when everything started till like the 70s or 80s and stuff like that. It was very commonplace.
So, shortly after the onset of puberty, Bonin discovered he was gay. His sexuality became the basis of a long-standing conflict with his mother because of this, who believed that his homosexual inclinations could be cured because it was simply a social disorder.
Oh.
Yeah, lovely, right?
Yeah, like I said,
camps and shit.
Like I said, this is they literally they built this serial killer. They made him. They 100% made him.
His mother became extremely emotionally controlling and protective of her, or of him rather, and is alleged to have refused to acknowledge the escalating antisocial behavior exhibited by her son throughout his adolescence.
Well, how could they acknowledge that aspect of the antisocial behavior? All of them were extremely antisocial. They didn't understand how to function in society.
Well, so even though he was gay, very seldomly Bonin did attempt to publicly court or interact with females. So on one occasion, he was humiliated and rejected by a girl whom he had worked up the courage to approach and ask for a date. This incident wounded his self-esteem and increased his belief that he just couldn't make it with girls anyway. And he resolved to never allow a female to hurt him this deeply again. By his teenage years, Bonin also developed an unrelenting and obsessive interest in pedophilia. In addition to fondling his brother, he is known to have molested several neighbor boys while the family lived on Angel Street in Downey, many of whom were lured into Bonin's home with the promise of alcohol or viewing X-rated movies. In addition to these acts of molestation, Bonin is known to have committed several acts of robbery, petty theft, and grand theft in his teenage years. He also developed a passion for bowling as a teen. Kind of off course, but yeah. And his hobby would last throughout his teenage years.
Well, one of the things that kids do, especially like teenagers and stuff like that, who have been raped and molested, they try to take their power back in ways, and that's where they become pedophiles and stuff like that. Because they had power taken away from them, and they want that power back, so that's why they end up doing it, or supposedly end up doing it. Yeah. So
for the record, I just wanted to show you guys what Bonin looks like. He looks cool. Normal, but his eyes are scary.
But he's also the guy who had the van and looked like this.
The mustache.
The mustache. He is the pedo with a van.
But you got to also understand, this look at the time was somewhat normal.
Well,
79.
Yeah.
Yeah, like even into the 70s, this is pretty normal. He, aside from his eyes obviously having nothing behind them.
Wait a second.
What?
Does he look like me?
No.
No.
Not at all. Not at all.
I'm kidding.
What the hell?
I'm off.
The only thing is the eyebrows. Okay, so
all right.
Engagement and U.S. Air Force. So now, go ahead.
I was going to say, during his time, we're probably going to actually get into this. During his time in the Air Force, he was actually well behaved for the most part. There's an incident that happened here.
He does look like Adam Driver.
He does.
And you look nothing like Adam Driver. So there we go.
Could we get William Bonin to take over the role of Kylo Ren?
No, because he's dead.
Well, could we get an undead William Bonin to take over the role of Kylo
You're
Ren?
much prettier.
Me?
Yes.
Oh, cool. It's that Norwegian blood, right? That you just look up to, Carl. That you just.
Hi, Jeff.
Hey, Jeff. just see how gorgeous us.
Right.
I was gonna say Norns, but that's the Norns were. I think they were female and they were
Norsemen.
The Norseman. Well, he's a Norseman too.
He's
Carl's an OG Norseman. He was actually born and raised in Sweden.
But
I've only just taken up the mantle of my heritage. That's it. I was born and raised here in America.
Hey, be Swedish.
Well, they can't all be perfect.
Not Norse. But anyway, wow. Did you hear what you said? Did you hear what you said?
He's Swedish. Can't all be perfect. I'm sorry.
God. All right. We're going to actually go to break real fast.
It's been 30 minutes already?
Yes.
Oh, this is going to be a two-parter no matter.
Yeah. We're going to go to break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about his engagement and being in the Air Force. And then we're going to get into his first convictions. Guten Abend. Hello.
Hello.
How are you doing,
Hello,
Sven? I'm sure that was the worst German you've ever heard.
What does Abend mean? Is that like
evening?
Evening?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
People share out the feed and say hello to both of them. They're both
please.
cool people. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff.
All right. Yes. Now we're going to go to commercial. We will.
I do the same thing. I lose it. One more. There you go.
We will be back.
This is Mikey from Out of the Ordinary, and you're watching PBDC TV.
First thing in the morning, when I'm listening to music and getting a little bit of time for some creepy research, I'm always representing with my PBDC merch. What a better way to have a cup of coffee in the morning.
Don't forget to check out our other cool merch at rootsbleedred.com. That's rootsbleedred.com.
This is Professor Edgar Fluffosaurus from Spooky Tales with Steve the Cat, and when I'm not hosting Monster Chat or knocking down small Japanese cities, I'm watching PBDC TV. Now back to the show.
There we go.
Oh no. Okay, Sven. It's not the Rona, is it? You good? I'm sorry you don't feel well. All right. My nose itches. Nose itches. Okay, I don't know what's going on here. There we go. All right. Let's jump back into this.
Yeah.
What? Okay, anyway. So shortly after graduating from high school in 1965, Bonin became engaged to Mary. This engagement had largely been at the behest of his mother, who believed the prospect of marriage would quell her son's evident homosexuality.
Yeah.
The same year of his graduation, Bonin joined the Air Force.
Let's just put vagina in his face when he obviously does not like vagina.
Yeah, right? So the same year he joined the Air Force, later serving 5 months of active duty in Vietnam as an aerial gunner and logging over 700 hours of combat and patrol.
I want to say he is the only, okay, so there is a ton of serial killers who have actually gone to Vietnam and they were always clerks or something like that, like Arthur Shawcross or, I just said a ton, I only named one. But yeah, Arthur Shawcross was just a clerk, but all of them ended up being clerks and stuff like that. They don't really see combat. William Bonin actually saw combat and he was extraordinarily well. He was a, Carl, what's the term? I know you know the door gunner he was a door gunner on the Blackhawks, not Blackhawks.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that's what he did. And he was good at his job. He killed a lot of people in Vietnam.
Good. It's just a normal cold.
Okay,
that's good.
That's good.
Carl, how are you feeling? It's still kicking your butt. I'm sorry.
Oh man, I'm sorry.
I need to bring some of that soup up there.
How is it that can we just when we got
send in the scunt?
When we got COVID, Carl was here for the Christmas party and he didn't get COVID.
I don't know.
But he gets COVID this way.
It's because he got the vaccine.
Yeah. He got vaccinated.
And now he got it. Hey!
Hey, Beth!
We are doing well, thank you.
Thank you.
What?
Hootie 2? Huddy 2? What is Huddy 2? I don't know.
I don't know, but
yeah. Door gunner. He was a door gunner.
Not a safe job, of course.
Not Vietnam, no. And he survived it. He murdered. He excelled at it.
Are you kidding? That's the safest job there.
Wouldn't that be like the equivalent of giving it basically being like, hey, you're gonna be the flamethrower guy?
No, this is the equivalent of being like, we're just putting a giant target on you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If any of the guys with machine guns or flamethrowers, they're gonna get them first.
Yeah, of course.
And none of them got him.
Oh,
the
helicopter. Sorry, I was like
Huey. There you go. Yeah, you're right.
What's up? Okay, so Bonin was to later claim that his experience in Vietnam had instilled a belief within him that human life is overvalued. On one occasion, while under enemy fire, Bonin risked his own life to save the life of a wounded fellow airman.
This is insane, too.
For this act, he actually received a medal of recognition for his gallantry.
He had an honorable discharge.
Well, he claimed to have had sexual relations with both men and women while in Nam. He also later admitted to sexually assaulting 2 fellow soldiers at gunpoint during the Tet Offensive. Mm-hmm.
He actually, 2 lower-ranking officers, he held them at gunpoint and made them, raped them.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, other than this, they actually do believe it happened, but it was never reported, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the only time he ever did something wrong in Vietnam.
Mikey, R2D2. Carl says, most symptoms passed. Respiratory still kind of bad. Still sexy, though.
Nice.
We got to keep that sexiness. Definitely. Keep that up. Okay, so Bonin served 3 years in the Air Force before he received an honorable discharge in October of 1968. Upon his discharge, he returned to Downey to live with his mother. Shortly thereafter, Bonin married his fiancée, with whom he fathered a son. The couple's marriage was really short-lived, and they soon divorced.
Well, yeah, being
gay in a heterosexual marriage does not work.
It does not work one bit.
Yeah. So on November 17th, 1968, at the age of 21, Bonin committed a sexual act on a young man. He was to commit 3 further sexual acts on boys over the following 4 months. The victims of these 4 assaults were aged between 12 and 18, and in each instance, he bound or otherwise restrained his victim before forcibly engaging in sodomy and oral copulation. And methods of torture, which included bludgeoning and squeezing of the victim's testicles.
He was very much into torture.
So I'm going to do this again real fast.
The trigger warning. Yeah.
Trigger warning, guys. This is going to get pretty brutal.
Yep.
And it'll be even more brutal.
Well, we'll see how far we get. We might actually get into the messed up part in part 2. We don't know yet. Dude, I was thinking about what if Bonin was
there with Richard Ramirez's uncle in Nam.
They wouldn't have. I don't think they would have. I mean, if they were together, I don't think he would have associated with him because Bonin was not straight. So
yeah. All right. So in early 1969, Bonin was arrested as he attempted to restrain a 16-year-old whom he had lured to his vehicle. He was indicted on 5 counts of kidnapping, 4 counts of sodomy, 1 count of oral copulation, and 1 count of child molestation against the 5 young men he had abducted and assaulted. Or in the case of the final one, that he had abducted and attempted to assault since the previous November. Bonin pled guilty to molestation and forced copulation and was sentenced to a Atascadero State Hospital as a mentally disordered sexual offender considered amenable to treatment in 1971 in January.
He just missed Kemper too.
So one of the
Kemper
other things
was out during this time when he went in.
By the way, forced oral copulation.
Eramatio. Eramatio.
Eramatio.
We're not making fun of victims here. We're just saying it's eramatio.
It is eramatio. It's a word we learned when we first covered Kemper.
I learned it from Brazers.
Hi, Sandy.
Hi, Sandy.
Welcome back. Great to see you again.
We got a lot of people in here now. Look.
Well,
Our numbers went
I am
up.
having severe everywhere on my body. That's why way too good for me to eat anything. Oh, I'm sorry.
Wait, what happened?
She's having a reaction.
Oh, Benadryl. If you can get some Benadryl.
I have to go get the allergy test soon because I'm allergic to an antihistamine. So they're weirded out by that.
Oh, yeah.
And so
I'm hitting the fan. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm
no, they're weirded out by the fact that I'm allergic to an antihistamine.
Well, you're allergic to a couple different medications, and they're like, we need to figure this out because if we give her antibiotics next time
Well, I'm suddenly allergic to penicillin-based antibiotics, which is weird because I never was.
Well, this is not to get into this, but most
she's allergic to Pepto-Bismol.
Ooh. Oh!
That stuff's gross anyway, so they're not really missing anything.
Honestly, and it's gross to do, but baking soda and water helps settle your stomach and all that stuff. It really helps with heartburn and everything.
Or soda water and bitters.
I stay away from Pepto-Bismol. It's gross.
Blech. All right, so wow, here we go. While detained at Atascadero, Bonin was subjected to a battery of psychiatric examinations, which revealed that he possessed a higher than average IQ, which was 121, and displayed traits of manic depression in addition to damage to the prefrontal cortex in his brain, which would likely reduce his ability to restrain any violent impulses. Bonin's physical examinations also revealed extensive scars on his head and butt, which he had likely sustained in the 3 years that he had been housed at the juvie center in Connecticut.
Well,
and although he claimed to have no memory of such incidents of abuse.
That and also being around his grandfather and father, everything like that. It's everything combined. It's his body was just tore up.
Yeah. 2 years after his arrival at Atascadero, Bonin was sent to prison, having been declared unsuitable for further treatment, largely due to his repeatedly engaging in forceful sexual activity with the other inmates. So on June 11th,
he was the rapist in prison too.
Yeah.
Like it didn't. This is what I was saying about him being knowing what to do in Vietnam. He could back up his threats.
Yeah.
Easily. Whereas other serial killers, when they were cornered and they were backed up by strong people, they buckled, but he wouldn't.
So on June 11th, 1974, he was released from prison after doctors concluded that he was no longer a danger to the health and safety of others. Yeah, sure. So Calvin says that happened to him. He wasn't allergic to penicillin, and bam, one day broke into hives. That's what happened. It was actually amoxicillin this time, but I got it because I'm gonna have a tooth pulled, and they were afraid of it abscessing, so they gave me some amoxicillin. And I started out with the stomach aches and not feeling good in general, and I was like, whatever. But I do remember that is how I found out I was allergic to Allegra, and then I started breaking out in hives. So I stopped taking it. And it took me a week and a half to get new medication. So, all right, let's get into some further offenses and imprisonment. On September 8th, 1974, 3 months after his release from prison, Bonin encountered a 14-year-old hitchhiker named David Allen McVicker in Garden Grove. McVicker, accepted Bonin's offer to drive him to his parents' home in Huntington Beach. Shortly after having entered Bonin's vehicle, McVicker was taken aback. It literally says taken aback.
He basically was taken in the back of his van.
Yes, yeah. Taken to the back of the vehicle.
I want to say it wasn't just taken to the back of the van. It was, hey, I got
forcefully.
Pot. No, I don't think it was forcefully. He was actually smart about that. It wasn't, a lot of the times it wasn't forcefully. When he got them in the van, it was like everything else. He disarmed them by saying, you want to get high, you want to do whatever. And then the minute he got there, it was the old, I want to say it was the same Gacy trick. Hey, try these handcuffs on.
No.
Was it?
Actually, no. He literally just asked him, like, hey, are you gay?
Oh, that's right. That's right.
And then he was like, okay, stop the car.
Yeah.
And then when he said stop the car, he's like, I said, are you gay? I'm not kidding.
He's all, I'm sorry, I'm not making fun of a victim here, but at the same time, he just holds a gun up. He's all, I didn't ask a question. I said, you gay.
You are gay. I'm
right
sorry
now,
that I switched
in
the
this
words,
moment,
but you are now gay.
You are going to take this dick.
Yeah, basically.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is scary to think of. I know.
What an arschloch.
Is that like saying asshole?
I think so.
It is scary, and I know, like, again, we are making some jokes here, but it is a very serious situation, because this is the peak of serial killers too, like in the late 70s, and Los Angeles was somewhat safe at the time too. This is when it started. It peaked in Northern California.
In Orange County too.
Yeah, it peaked in Northern California. Everything was happening up there, and then it kind of came down here in a wave. Whereas Los Angeles and Orange County were somewhat safe areas at the time.
Well, so get this. So he was like, he did stop the car because he's all, hey, stop the car.
Mm-hmm.
And he did. But he produced a gun and held it to him and took him over to a deserted field where he ordered him to get naked, and he proceeded to beat and rape him in the front seat of the car.
I'm sorry. I know hindsight's 2020, and when you put yourselves in these situations, I would have been in that guy. You're just going to have sex with my dead body because I'm going to run.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to fight my ass off right now.
So after assaulting McVicker, Bonin began to strangle him with his own t-shirt, but then became apologetic when he started screaming. And then he drove him home and casually stated, we'll meet again.
While he was driving him home, I do remember this part. While he was driving him home, he was actually trying to talk to him and actually trying to say, I didn't mean to do this. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Then he dropped him off and said, we'll meet again. Now, McVicker is going to come back and play a big part in all this.
Well, yeah. So McVicker cried. Let's just call him David because I can't keep saying that last name.
Oh, I know.
Okay, so David cried for several hours before calling the child abuse hotline. He then called his mother, who immediately drove home from work, and informed the Garden Grove police of the incident. So shortly after this, Bonin was charged with rape and irrematio of a minor and attempted abduction of a 15-year-old boy, which had occurred 2 days before this assault. So in the second instance, Bonin had sexually propositioned the 15-year-old, who rejected the offer for $35 for sex. In response, Bonin had attempted to strike him with his vehicle.
Yeah.
Bonin pled guilty to these charges on December 31st, 1975. He was sentenced to serve between 1 and 15 years in prison, and he went to the men's facility in San Luis Obispo.
So he served like 5 years, I think.
He was released in 78, so he served 3 years.
Okay.
But he did have 18 months of supervised probation.
Within those 18 months, he was not causing any issues or anything like that. He did have some control over his impulses, obviously. McVicker, sorry, David McVicker actually never fully recovered from that.
No.
He did find his strength and was able to show up in court. And then I want to say when they caught him for the murders, he still showed up in court for that too.
Yeah.
Because he didn't exactly realize he did know how close he came to death, but it's one of those things where it's surreal, like all this stuff happens to you and all of a sudden like you're like, okay, I got away, and then I just got to deal with the trauma here, which you never fully recover from, and then all of a sudden later on you realize, holy crap, he had almost 250 victims.
You realize you could have been one of them. You were supposed to be one of them.
Sorry.
So Beth says, I don't know if it's the same over there, but over here you tell some people in prison what these people do to children, and that's it for them.
Well, the issue with Bonin, most of it, whenever you have a child rapist here, it's the same here in America and California. When there's a pedophile, the prisoners take care of him. The issue with Bonin is he was aggressive in prison. He didn't care. He went after and raped people in prison left and right, and he didn't care about them performing sex on him either. That's what he was into.
Where were you the other night when I was struggling with Russian words, huh, bot?
Another Russian bot.
Where were you? Why couldn't you help me with my Russian? Just saying. I just wanted to say that. So let's get into acquaintance with Vernon Butts. I'm sorry. Upon his release, Bonin moved to an apartment complex in Downey, about a mile from his mom's place.
If I'm right here, I think Vernon Butts is the practicing magician, a magic user. I think this is him.
So he moved about a mile away from his mom into an apartment. He later obtained employment as a trucker for a Montebello delivery company named Dependable Drive Away. He also established a reputation among teenage boys in his neighborhood as a gregarious individual who allowed them to socialize in his apartment and who bought them alcohol. And in addition, Bonin dated a young woman whom he informed acquaintances of. He told people about. He regularly accompanied her to Anaheim on Sundays so she could go roller skating. Shortly after moving to his apartment, Bonin became acquainted with a 43-year-old neighbor named Everett Frazier. Bonin became a regular attendee at the frequent parties that Frazier held in his apartment. And through these social gatherings, he became acquainted with a 21-year-old named Vernon Butts. And yes, it's Butts, Butts. And an 18-year-old named Gregory Miley. Butts, a porcelain factory worker and part-time magician who held a fascination with occultism, later claimed to have been both fascinated and terrified of Bonin, while freely admitting to taking a great delight in watching Bonin abuse and torture his victims.
Oh, he participated too. He would kill him too. His associates wouldn't just watch; they were there doing it.
Oh yeah. And then Miley was an illiterate Texas native with an IQ of only 56, which today would put him at... Okay, this is a literal term. This is not a rude term, okay?
We get it. You don't have to say it.
But yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's a literal term. You can't...
I know.
Ugh, people are so touchy. It's a medical term.
I get it.
So anyway.
But he was legally retarded.
Thank you. I was going to say that.
Oh, they were going to say he was a I fucked up. I'm sorry.
You stopped me from saying retarded, and
I was quoting Clerks. I'm sorry.
God. Anyway, we just lost somebody.
Those insensitive assholes. I can deal with the murder and rapes, but talk about stuff like that, I'm out.
Well, anyway,
I'm never coming to this Denny's again.
Who supported himself with casual work, Miley. He also actively participated in the murders.
Yeah, you can always say special needs.
Special needs, yeah, but this was literal mental retardation.
The legal term, yeah, that he was that.
Yeah, the term, the mental retardation, which just means stunted. So I think I can actually get through this part. So murder spree. Bonin usually selected. Yeah, because I can go into here after. So Bonin usually selected young male hitchhikers, schoolboys, or occasionally male prostitutes as his victims. The victims were aged between 12 and 19 and were predominantly slender, fair-skinned, with long hair, whom he either enticed or forced into his eco line.
Long hair? Well, I mean, I'm lucky I'm not slender.
Where they were overpowered and bound at the hands and the feet with a combination of handcuffs and wire cords.
I am too fat for William Bonin. William Bonin.
They were then sexually assaulted, extensively beaten around the face, the head, and the genitals, tortured before typically being killed by strangulation with their own t-shirts, although some victims were stabbed or beat to death. On one victim, Darren Kendrick, was forced to drink hydrochloric acid. 3 victims had ice picks driven through their ears. And another one, Mark Shelton, died from shock. In order to minimize the chances of a potential victim escaping his vehicle, Bonin removed all inner handles from the passenger side and rear door of his van and stowed ligatures, knives, and household tools and other instruments in his vehicle to facilitate the restraining and torture of the victims. The victims were usually killed inside his van before their bodies were discarded along or close to various freeways in Southern California. In a minimum of 12 of the murders, Bonin was assisted by one or more of his 4 known accomplices. According to one attorney present throughout Bonin's subsequent confession, the escalating levels of brutality that he had exhibited towards his victims had been similar to that of a drug addict, requiring an ever greater increase of dosage to attain a satisfactory level of euphoria. And Bonin later emphasized to neurologists that he had felt an intense sense of excitement as he searched for his victim.
Yeah, it was all just going right.
Oh, I was joking. You're fine. Facebook kicked him.
Yeah, it's been doing that.
Yeah.
But we should.
So we're done.
We're done with this part of it. The next part, we're going to get into the first murder and the initial arrest, and then it's going to go into detail. It's going to be gory.
Yeah. So we're going to do this. I don't know when. We'll announce it.
I think tomorrow. I think we'll do another. We'll do after.
It'll either be us or Hexus and a Cobb, but
Steve the Cat is on tomorrow night,
so we'll go on after him.
We'll be going on after Steve the Cat
because we got a lot to finish.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us tonight. We really appreciate it as always. And a few things. Remember, Steve the Cat's on tomorrow.
Yep.
Tuesday, Mikey will be on as well. What was I going to say?
I don't know.
Oh, if you guys get a chance, go check out my page as well. I am selling bath bombs for a friend who is fighting cancer, and 100% of the money goes over to her for treatment. So if you get the chance, and there's also a GoFundMe listed if you want to check that out. Also, merch. We have merch. We have our voodoo merch out. And it's starting to sell like hotcakes, and I love it. So go get your voodoo merch. We've got mugs, we've got shirts, we've got bags, we've got
we really need to send a thank you letter to them.
We should.
Thank you.
Thank you for got on
giving us the idea.
On top of that, you have your choice of your favorite show. So we have the voodoo doll that has Double Jupiter on it, the voodoo doll that has Steve the Cat on it, the voodoo doll that has Mother de la Mort, Out of the Ordinary, Roots Bleed Red. It has we have various ones. So let us know. Go grab some merch. We appreciate you guys as always.
Some comments.
Woo, comments.
Some comments real fast.
All right, let's get here. Good. Thank you.
Thank you.
And
good night.
Good night.
Sandy.
Good night. Thank you, Jeff. Good night.
There is no Mr. Ghoul tonight. He is off.
I'm glad we were able to help you tonight.
This is pretty much where I think this is it for Eaton Sunday tonight.
Yeah, Mr. Ghoul's off tonight. But he'll be back next week. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
We all need a break every once in a while.
Yep.
Next week we are going to go live from a different location.
Friday?
Yeah.
It's my birthday next weekend. Well, it's my birthday
celebration.
I was born on February 7th. I am the epitome of an Aquarius.
Mm-hmm.
Absolute epitome. I'm right in the middle. There is no Aquarius in this moon of phase whatever. I am just an Aquarius.
You're an Aquarius with a Pisces moon.
I thought I was a Pisces. That's a quote from freaking Batman 1989. Thought it was a Pisces.
Ow. This is infected.
Oh, thank you, Beth.
I forgot where I was going, but we're going to be in a different location.
We'll be up in the mountains, but we'll have internet connection, and I think we will be able to do our Carla
Homolka.
We are covering
Friday.
Carla Homolka on Friday,
and then Sunday we are going to be starting a series on cults. Well, actually, Hexes and Akash should be starting that. Yeah. They're going to be talking about various cults. We were going to go live on the 13th because Love Has One cult. I thought that'd be great. But let's face it, it's the Super Bowl. Nobody's going to want to pay attention to this mug. Let's be real. People barely want to do that anyway. Anyway. Oh, happy early birthday.
Thank you.
Good night. Good night.
Beth said she will definitely be watching that on
Fantastic. And we will definitely be looking forward to seeing you guys there. Right. So, yeah, have a wonderful night, guys. What?
That outro. That's Eaton.
Okay.
Later, guys.
Do the intro.
We should do the outro.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
We knew the world would not be the same. Few people laughed. Few people cried. Most people were silent. I remembered the line from the Hindu scripture, the Bhagavad Gita. Vishnu is trying to persuade the prince that he should do his duty, and to impress him takes on his multi-armed form and says, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds." I suppose we all thought that one way or another.